One of the fond memories I have of my dear friend Jack. I knew Jack as a gentleman and a gentleman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Michael. The two records that Jack and I produced, one was Bill Kenny, and the other one was the Louis Armstrong, of course. We've heard that.
With other people who played records, but not a real disc jockey, a guy that went
Michael apart and did a very good job. It's still around the world, Michael, of course. I have to not take umbrage, Grace, but I have to mention this. When you are in Burnaby, you say the city. Please understand, this is Burnaby, and I love you in Vancouver, and I work with Burnaby Board of Trade, and you know, my loyalties, even though I played hockey in Westminster, I want you to know that Burnaby is still where we are today. And my colleague, who is just joined the Burnaby Board of Trade, Norman, over there, Norman Blaine, he never ever allowed me to get away with this if I didn't say Burnaby. And the mayor isn't here today, but that's his fault, not mine. You know, earlier this morning, really early, Brian, I think you referred to the great Neil McRae. You knew he was coming here only for the very reason Neil put shoes on today, and he wore a dark outfit and that. And I thought, what's so nice, and that's how I started my day, knowing Neil had shoes and a very dark outfit. Look at the dapper young man over there. Neil, thank you. And Jack had a great respect for you. You're in a different world, and both of you are in a different world, but that's another story. Aren't you glad of that? But my good friend, longtime friend, Neil McRae, well, not a friend, but buddies over the years. But he covered the sports. And Jack really, I have to tell you, the first time I took Jack to a hockey game in Vancouver, and Bill was the CEO of the Canucks at the time, and they were playing the Minnesota North Stars, and they, if I recall, Bill, they had green and white jerseys, am I correct? Yeah. Anyway, Jack had been in the Navy, and he saw a first game in 1942, the Montreal Canadiens. So I took him to a game one night in Vancouver, and all Jack could say, at that time we had the blue and green outfits before the change. And he says, Seb, who are the whiteys and who are the greenies? I said, well, Jack, you figured out. Our guys are they're the whiteys. Anyway. Anybody else? Yeah, who's going to come up? Here we go.
He was sitting back there going, get me up. Was it from New Zealand or Australia? No, but he played piano all the way over on the Arsoba or the Aranse. Stopped in Vancouver, became a talk show host, and he's getting on my nerves again. No, kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim McDonough.
Just about twisted my left arm up by somewhere. And he said, you have to tell your stories because it takes you inside a room that a lot of you may not have gotten into. I was having a liquid dinner one night, as I usually did at the Austin Hotel in the pub. Got there about 6, drank till 10, and the bar manager came over and said, Jimmy, you're one on the phone. I think it's Jack Cullen. So it was Jack, and he said, are you coming over later to this little meeting place on House Street? I said, well, I was kind of thinking about it. He said, well, I'm very thirsty. Could you bring me 6 cold ones? So I took him 6 Black Label and a package of players, and we went over there, and amazingly, it was one of those nights when we were the only 2 there. And he's doing his show, of course. It's about 10:30, so he's got started. And I'm really started, because I've been there since 6 o'clock. Anyway, he starts doing a Dunn's Taylor's commercial. Dunn's bins were down on Hastings Street in those days, and I'm on the other side of the console, you know, enjoying myself. And halfway through the commercial, I don't know why, he takes the commercial and he passes it to me. He says, here, you should read this. This is live. And I'm saying, dressed well dressed, I don't know what I'm even reading. Well, while I'm trying to finish off the commercial, the phone stopped ringing. It was Mr. Hughes. And I can tell that things aren't too good. And there's another light going here nervously. And, yes, sir. Oh, okay, fine. Okay. Oh, Mr. Ansel. Oh, yes, Mr. Ansel. He was my boss at CKWX. Jimmy, it's to you. customized poster music were both fired. Fired! He says, what happened? I said, I'm out of work. I said, he says, to turn myself in at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. He said, I'm fired too. I said, so I got the hell out of there. To cut the story short, next morning I went into Johnny Ansell's office, 9 o'clock, tail between my legs, and shut the door. He said, Jimmy, the best goddamn promotion we ever did.
Well, wasn't it the Smiling Buddha where you used to play piano? I'm not making that up, he did. I'm sorry? How are you? I'm fine. No, I just wanted to mention this and then I'll... Certainly? Mr. Certainly, thank you. I'm just kidding you. We mentioned the RPM. What we decided to do, and Jack Lee said he'd help us. I don't know, just a short round of applause. If you saw one of the most poignant editorial cartoons I've ever seen by Roy Peterson of Jack in the paper, did you see it? It was incredible. And a wonderful cartoonist, internationally known. We want to get that. Jack's going to get the original. What we're going to do is, this is an idea we had, and we're going to do it. It's not, a rocket science situation here. We're going to have it placed on metal, burned into metal, and put in Brentwood where his old store used to be. What do you think, folks? Huh? This is where Jack Cullen partied. So if you get up to Brentwood the next coming few weeks, you'll see it up there. We're going to do it for sure. No questions asked. And did you want to come up and say a couple words about Jack? Please, sir. Mr. Certainly.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a few of you in the audience might know, Red Robinson and I knew each other from General Rock School in the mid-1950s. For as long as I can remember, I have enjoyed Jack Cullen's music, comments, and drama programs. My name is Dave Sinclair. I have lived in Vancouver for most of my life. I have purchased records from all of Jack Cullen's record stores. I cherish these records, and I also cherish the label of these records. In early November of 1980, I recall phoning Jack to advise him that Channel 13 Tacoma had reappeared on the air as an independent commercial television station, and that it could be received well off air in Greater Vancouver. About 1 year after that, Channel 13 was brought onto the cable systems in the Lower Mainland and the Victoria areas, and subsequently was relisted in the television and newspaper radio sections. I also remember many occasions at the Gay Parade over the years, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you, Seth. I look to my right and see Jack Cullen and know that he has gone to the airwaves of the sky, which will live forever. I also listened to Jack Cullen whenever and wherever I could, including several occasions in Yakima, Washington, when the local 980 AM radio station there signed off the air at sunset, and at that time CKNW could be picked up. Thank you for the memories, Jack. I know God will keep you for all eternity.
I'm sorry I didn't recognize the Sinclair group from General Brock. It's been a lot of years. You know it. Just answer me one thing. Out of all those records you bought from Cullen's, did you buy Ready Teddy with Elvis? We're coming to the end, but before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to call upon a man that was in the Navy with Jack Cullen, and a great, at the time when we could call him alternate, counselor for the city of Vancouver, retired. Welcome, Don Belgium. Don, come up to say something about your dear friend Jack.
Thanks, Red. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be a little different. I'll be damn brief, because that's what Jack would want. I first met Jack in 1944. We were on 2 destroyers. And the name, while it says destroyers, that was the only thing that meant anything, because he was on a tin can from the First World War, one of the 50 that Roosevelt gave to Churchill. We got 10 of the worst of them, and Jack was one of them. Jack was a Sparks, and you all know that, but Jack was more than that. Because of his excellence in his chosen trade, he could send Morse code so fast that no man in the Navy could pick it up, and even the Wrens had trouble on the naval bases, and they were the best. Jack and I never referred to other or called each other in all those years by our names. Hi, Jack. Hi, Don. It was all, Winger, how are you? Because we were friends, and that was the name that was used. And all I would say, I know, and up spirits was always called for at that time by piping through the ship. And all of the fellows over 21, and there wasn't that many, by the way. The Navy saved an awful lot of money at that time. As I said, we made up for it later. But I can recall, and last night's program, that 3 hour, that was a ding hummer. A ding hummer. And all of that bring back memories, climbing through the windows and all. Anyway, Jack lived a great life. And because we had a fellow like that pass our way, we who came to know him personally and otherwise are better for it. And God bless him. Let him rest in peace.
Thank you, Don. You know, when I first stood up here, I told you about the era of the disc jockey, which began in this town with other people who played records, but not a real disc jockey, a guy that went to the edge and did unusual things, and that was Jack Cullen. Many of us in this room know that this is the end of an era. Records, but not a real disc jockey, a guy that went to the edge and did unusual things, and that was Jack Cullen. Many of us in this room know that this is the end of an era of the disc jockeys with Frosty and the people that still perform each and every day. We'll never see the likes of them again. And Jack Cullen started it, and he is faded now, but not from our memories. But it is the end of that period of radio history. There's no doubt about it, sadly. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Shrine Temple here, the Shrine Hall, for hosting this. And thank you all for coming out. So many of you, we could speak here for hours, but why don't we do it individually, one-on-one? And remember a guy that I'm going to drink water to, and he'd really be mad at me, but I'm going to do it. To Jack Cullen, whatever you got, folks. Thank you all. Oh yes, I forgot, refreshments at the far end here. In honor of Jack, even a little food. Yeah.
You said you were in the pool. You were in the pool.
I know.
So I used to go down this He got me interested.
I grew up in their house. House is still there.
Sean was about 9 months, 10 months old, and he just had such a blast.
I think all of us.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. It was so much fun.
Those were the days. Party days. Yeah.
He was there.
Sweet.
He was jumping in and splashing at the sun. It was so much fun. I think that was probably the first time I really got to spend some time with Jack. He came up a couple times, and every time he'd come up, we'd have to bring the kids over to Nana's house, Colleen's house, and we'd just sit there and, smoke and drink.
Oh, yeah, it's here. We need to go downstairs, you know where to go. Yes, I'm out. You know, that's what, yes.
Oh, that kid. Just like his mother. Just like his mother.
Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bill Kinney.
Isn't that right, Bobby?
Lots of them, pretty big book.
his career, opening up every night by saying, Day 145, America held hostage. And the hostage guys were Jimmy Carter, and he almost personally lost that election because he just America held hostage. That's a cheap journey. That was the problem.
That's his wig on.
Oh, that's an awful goddamn.
What are you talking about? Look at the wig. Look at him. There he is. He wore a different shape every day. What's he using?
That's a nice picture of Jack.
Yeah. How can you tell it's him?
Well, that's his last picture in bed.
So you know him?
Before he died.
You know him?
For years. Oh, yeah, way back. Way before he was born.
Can I put him on the camera?
Sure, if you want.
Show it to my parents.
Go ahead.
Maybe my parents want to see it. Oops.
Sure, that's his last picture.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to those.
Fraser Avenue is still there, but I think they lived on somewhere on 17th and Fraser or Paul Jackson.
Let's take a photo of it.
There you are.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, he is.
It's in this one here. Can we just go through here?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
He's near the back, you know that. Maybe not this far back.
I think it's right after this one. Here it is. There you are. 12 years old, broadcasting 7 days weekly.
Well, there you go. We're number one in every school.
I mentioned the kid I took to school.
Valerie gets it. I'm just a radio fan listener.
Oh, is that right? I thought maybe
Just the radio listening family.
That's a big one.
Yeah. See you later.
Oh, it's nice that someone kept all these old clippings, isn't it?
Yeah. I see this one, it says Volume 1, the early years. I wonder if that's Jack Cullen's old ring, I guess.
Oh, maybe so,
Yeah. So I guess he you know, yeah. See, got a telegram from Spike Jones here. And here's one that was interesting.
I should have remembered you guys like Florida.
Well, it has a lot of
Is there any more of the left?
Yeah.
He was a wonderful fellow, too.
A couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Here's a telegram from Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, yeah, they were good things.
Dear Jack,
Red Adair, yeah.
sent to me.
Oh, that's one of the guys he was promoting.
East Hotel, Chicago, Illinois. Will you there? On the 20th. Appreciate the effort very much.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Yeah, he was a good guy. He was proud of his music and always...
Let's have a round of applause.
Yes. Yeah, no, he was, the word legend is beautifully.
He was our teacher in elementary school reunion. That was in 95.
Oh.
So we were lucky to have him.
Yeah, George. I think she knows what to do.
Yeah, I'm trying back tomorrow.
Oh, no, we're going from,
Are you finished?
Oh, yes. There's lots of them there.
I never thought how he might be dressed for that thing on Gross Mountain you talk about. Looks like the abominable snowman coming in.
There's another one of them actually on the chart.
There's Dave Dixon.
It's in here somewhere.
How much?
Jenny, this lead. One of the meetings, eh?
I guess if Jesse's in there, that's something special, I think. I don't think that was a regular meeting. I don't think that's a regular meeting. That's something special.
No, I'm talking
I think you made 6 or 8 pages from the back, did you? There's Al.
I remember who was in here. It's great photos. It's black and white. It's in this book. You went by quickly, you might have missed it.
Because you never get to the No, I know. That's Franklin's. I used to listen to him when I was a kid when I did a Christmas set.
Yeah, may well be at the front.
Oh, he's too past that.
My husband,
Bill Haley.
Jack's mom.
And Martin.
And the Legion.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I remember somebody shot. Photos are coming loose. I'll be in a section. Great.
In the back.
This is probably from the interview. So that's mid-60s?
Did you meet Jack Cullen? Is that when you just lost your life? He had the hands up, but he couldn't get the guy. Are you related? Are you not his wife? Are you just an old friend? Jack, my grandfather worked for the CBC. I remember he drank with that too. Father worked for the CBC. I remember he drank with that too.
Jack didn't drink, he drank a lot.
Oh yeah. But how younger is Lorne? Is he younger, Lorne? I don't know. But Lorne looks like he might live for another 10 or 15 years.
It's possible.
My dad's father lived to be I could easily live to be 100 because my dad's father lived to be 100 and his mother 97. I could easily live to be 100.
I'm going to live to be 105.
105. But my dad's worth a lot. My dad's probably worth a little bit of money. Funny, since I was
The music I like better than the 60s.
Music. That was good music.
But there are some family
The music today is not really music. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it's not like we can't go CD more now. People want to buy what you want.
I don't know why they think the times have changed for the better because
I haven't tacked
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Movies and everything.
I know when
Yeah, we both did together, smoked a lot and drank.
Isn't this movie show almost had him in his row when he died? You know, a little.
So there's something.
Everything is in the show, like all his records.
Yes, Chad.
You know, you don't want to break them up.
No, I'm not going to say. And but some people.
I have an acre.
Remember, was it in the early 80s you could buy homes on Tyrol?
Yes.
Are they 300,000? Are they $1 million now or on camera? They're all. You know why Vancouver's